All righty, good morning again. I'd like to call the Kane County Board to order. It is Tuesday, April 11th. It is, what is it, 10 or 9? 53. Yeah, that sounds about right. Clerk, could you please call the roll?
Okay, roll call. Allen.
Allen present.
Bates.
Bates here.
Berman.
Berman's here.
Doherty.
Doherty here.
Davis here.
Ford. Gums.
Drums here.
Iqbal.
Bob present.
Juby.
Juby here.
Kenyon.
Here.
Caius.
Caius present.
Leonard. Mr. Leonard, are you present?
Leonard
Lewis?
here.
Oh, okay. Lewis.
Who's here?
Linder.
Linder here.
Molina.
Molina present.
Roth.
Roth here.
Sanchez.
Sanchez present.
Silva.
Silva is here.
Rathman.
Present.
Surgis. Tarver.
Harper here.
Tepe.
Deputy here.
Williams.
Williams here.
Young.
Young here.
Okay,
Okay, you have a quorum.
we do have a quorum. Burgess, I believe you're going to be leading us in the invocation as well as the Pledge of Allegiance.
Like the pledge first or the invocation?
Why don't we do the pledge first?
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United
We remain standing, please. Father God, coming off of Holy Week, we hope that the lessons that we learned and the blessings that were given would extend throughout the entire year. 25 elected officials here come to you to represent our constituents, our families, our children and grandchildren, and we hope that you would celebrate our commonalities rather than our differences. In your holy name we pray. Amen.
Amen.
Amen. Thank you, Mr. Surges. May I please have a motion and a second to approve the minutes from March 14th, 2023?
Gums will move.
Madam Chair, Caius would ask for unanimous consent for the minutes for March 14, 2023.
Yes or no?
I think that was an agreement.
Yeah. You answered your own question.
If there's no objections,
Yes.
we have unanimous consent. Thank you. I can see that we do have some public comment. Did anybody sign up? May I have that sign sheet, please? All right. Now, I would like to remind all of our public speakers that this is a body of order, and I will demand and I will ask that we keep order in this house. I respect the fact that many of you are very enthusiastic and feel passionate about what you're about to say, but I would like for all of you to refrain from undue clapping, cheering, name calling, and disrupting the order of this house. I think that would be something that you would respect from your schools, your library boards, your state, as well as your government. This is your county. Please respect it with the courtesy that it so deserves. And that includes all of our members of our board, please. So with that, we all look forward to hearing your comments. If it is off consent, you'll have, if off agenda, sorry, you'll have 3 minutes. If it is on agenda, you will have 5 minutes. And I'll ask you before you begin, if it's on agenda or off agenda, and we will time you. All right, please. I think everyone can agree to this. We want to make sure that we're able to hear everybody. and not disrupt one another with your speaking, because your words are very important for us. So with that, the first speaker is Dolores Van Heel. Dolores, could you please give us your name?
Absolutely.
The city you live in, and if it's off agenda or on agenda.
Absolutely. My name is Dolores Van Heel. I'm a resident of the St. Charles community, 34 years. Prominent member of the community and business community. This is off agenda. It is regarding the elections. I was a 4-year candidate in this election cycle, and I knocked over 2,500 doors. I went door to door to the members of our community because I was a educator in the district. I was a parent who raised my kids in this district, all who had gone on to do very well. I got the vote and the opinion, and I got the hope. Let me say that hope of residents who said, thank you for being out here. Thank you for being a voice, and thank you for standing up for our children. Thank you for that wonderful prayer, because it is about our children, and you are a constituent, and we have a responsibility. So with that, I'd like to just present a little evidence, and I'd like to make the assumption that we are a fair people and that we do know how to present ourselves, Madam Chair and Board, and that we will do this in a rather conducive and polite way, because that's who we are. The night of the voting at 8:40, first let me say the numbers were for myself, 32,032 and 3951 for my opponent reporting. 40 of the 47 districts had reported at that point. Now, again, I think because of our political culture, I think we can all agree, and for our American history in what's happened in past elections, something like this does cause one to question. At 9:25, when the server went out, mind you, the return page is indicating not secure when it did come back up, with the numbers then reporting a total of 4,125 votes. Then by Wednesday of the next morning, April 5th at 7:11 p.m., I had almost jumped 422 votes, all only having to be returned as a final vote. Also at the end, which would have been, again, 4-5 that following Wednesday, 25,000 of the 25,000 to 38,000 vote by mail ballots were returned to the county clerk. At the end of 4-5, sorry. And again, I could have statistic after statistic. I could have screenshot after screenshot. The point is, the papers the next day reported that there was somewhat of a glitch, right? A true definition of a glitch would be an electrical malfunction, yet that's not what the papers reported. What the papers reported was a USB file. I don't know that a USB file exists. I know of a USB drive. I did some IT work in my past. So little inconsistencies there. And for anybody that did any type of proper reporting or reporting from the county, we would have that exact definition.
Mrs. Van Heel?
I will, if you don't mind, a closing comment. If we are to have integrity in this county, and we are to have the voice of the people and the businesses that supported me being told that your vote doesn't really count, I think we better rethink this. Thank you.
Michelle Beddick? Is Michelle here? It's Bettag? No? Okay. Debbie Karnarvowski?
Debbie Kenarowski from Geneva, and this is off topic.
So you have 3 minutes.
Last Tuesday, April 4th, the consolidated election was held. At about 9 p.m., the site for Kane County election results went down. At some point, the traditional returns for the election were replaced with a PDF file. when the website came back up, some of the candidates showed a loss of votes. This was not the first time that Kane County had a server go down on election day. As we all know, the server went down on November 2022 election as well. This is unacceptable to have a government office perform so poorly. We are asking that the county board speak to the clerk on behalf of the Kane County citizens to hold the clerks accountable for this failure. There should be complete transparency with the clerk's office reporting to the citizens on exactly what happened and why in writing. As I researched this issue, I found that it is a normal procedure for the clerk's office to have a dress rehearsal before election day. Questions to be asked of the clerk are, was the test doc done all the way to the end of the process? When was the audit done? We have uncovered multiple irregularities, which you'll hear some of today in the consolidated election, are in the process of continuing to compile that information. Here's an example. A school board candidate in Geneva at 9:09 p.m. had a screenshot on April 4th and had 1,278 votes. At 11:44 p.m. on the PDF, it showed the same candidate had 985 votes. At 8:45 p.m. last night, April 10th, the website showed the same candidate had 1,024 votes. How did this happen? I have screenshots of all of this example. All of you have been candidates. Now, how would you feel if this happened to you? In order to reconcile these results, the poll tapes from all precincts need to be reviewed, and there needs to be a paper trail to match the final numbers. The election results are despicable, and yet the Kane County Clerk's Office was selected as one of the 10 best in the United States to receive the award, so-called, for the U.S. Alliance for Elections Excellence. Do you understand now that it is impossible, based on what happened, that we were not selected, we were selected, and it was not an award? As we have stated before, this is targeted money used to influence elections. Elections are supposed to be fair and transparent and accurate. Let us work together as Americans to make this happen.
I'm going to say it again, please. I'm going to ask, I know your enthusiasm. I'm going to ask for refraining from the applause, please. Michael McMahon?
Okay, couple things over here. First off, without my time running, I was going to be agenda item. Agenda, it says here, public comment is part of the agenda, so I want to constitute as an agenda item.
Sir, we need your name and
No, you
your,
don't. You have my name. You just
no,
called-
no,
You just called my name.
I
You
need-
just called my name.
Sir, you need to say your name.
You don't
please.
need to do anything. You called my name, right? Did you not hear yourself?
Sir, I'm going to ask you to step down.
Point
of order.
Point of order. Does the board want to hear from the public, or you want to shut the public out?
Point of order.
Sir,
Point of order.
please sit down. Please sit down.
Point of order.
Mr. Doherty's asking for point of order.
Oh, Mr. Doherty? Yes, sir. Point of order.
We are not allowed to ask people their name and their address and where they're from when they choose to speak. They could sign up as Mickey Mouse and come up to the podium and speak.
If they
So
choose to
there
identify.
is no demand that you can demand their name and their address. Please stop it. Allow the man to speak
We're
his
going to
3
have a-
minutes, 5 minutes.
We're going to have a pause right now. I'd like to get, have our attorneys, our state's attorney is here.
Thank you. It does not appear that in our code it will require him to give his name or his address. So at this point, I would advise that he be allowed to speak.
All right, that is a change of our usual decorum. Sir,
Okay. So I'm going to ask for the 5 minutes here in the fact that the agenda here calls for public comment. I'm going to consider this an agenda item.
No.
Can
it
I
is
do
not-
that?
It is not on the agenda. U.S. Alliance is not on this agenda.
You don't know what I'm talking about yet.
So just for clarification, if it's on the agenda, then it can be a 5 minutes. If it's not on the agenda, it's 3 minutes. And if you would like to tell me what it's about, I could then consult with the agenda to give you advice as to whether it's 3 or 5.
Well, I'm considering this public comment. I have a lot of things with comment that are covering a lot of range of topics over here. So it's not specific to one item.
Is it related to any item on the agenda besides the general public comment? So public comment is on the agenda so people know when they're able to speak.
Okay, we'll just start with the 3 minutes then.
Thank you,
I'm
sir.
not going to argue about that. There's one of the quotes that I like. It's by Thomas Sowell. And he says, if you want to help people, you tell them the truth. So, is this thing working? If you want to help yourself, you tell them what they want to hear, correct? We've got a bad history in this country lately of naming things for what they're not. I take over here the Affordable Care Act. When was that become affordable? I look at here at the Inflation Reduction Act. When has that reduced inflation? Planned Parenthood. Planned Parenthood. Let's see, we want to eliminate from being parents. That doesn't seem to go well either. So why am I to believe, or any of us are to believe, that the term election integrity, this award, has anything to do with election integrity or excellence, I should say? Look at my time over here. So when I look at foundations, and there's a foundations are funding this, I took the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation for an example. And they say here, guided by the belief that everything in life has equal value, the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation works to help all people lead a healthy and positive lives. But they're not doing that. They're about something other than what they're saying. And that's real obvious. So I'll just go to this agenda right here. Cheese. Cheese. What do I mean by cheese? Anybody know? Anybody know what this is? This is your cheese. This is the American Alliance, U.S. Alliance. And inside here is your cheese. Whoa. Are you going to reach your finger in for that? Do you want to reach in for that money and have that trap come upon you? You are representatives. The Constitution starts out with we the people. You took an oath. You took an oath that simply states, oh, here. Well, before I get to that oath, you know what your oath was. In the memorandum, you've said here, we cannot say for sure why the Kane County Clerk was selected. You don't even know why you're selected in your own memorandum, for crying out loud. How can you let this go on? As a board, you go and point to the clerk and say, well, that's his money, but you approve his budget. And then when you look further into this, we find out that the grantee was the clerk, but you have to approve his budget. So we're going to ask you to say, well, you know what, clerk, if you want to take that money, perhaps we're not going to approve your next budget for the $2 million. We'll cut that short. And that's what we, the people, are asking for. Is for you to take a look at this and represent us, because the people you represent are not the people that just they vote, that are people who are interested. They're interested. They're coming here in their own time. That's who you really represent.
Sir, your
And as
time
far
is
as
up.
clapping,
Sir, your time
that
is
is
up.
not,
Your time
your
is up.
arrogance precludes you.
Sir,
This
your
is like
time,
a house
your
of ill
time is up.
repute with your own madam.
State's attorney, am I allowed now to call the next person's name? Because they don't have to, I mean, what is this protocol now? Because this is new. They have to sign up using their name.
Yes, so when you're calling them, you're just indicating it's their time to speak.
Very good, thank you. So it's Katie Botke.
Kate back to Geneva. Is my mic on?
Hold it closer. It's a persnickety mic.
Okay.
There you go.
Thanks. Corinne, I wanted to thank you for letting me speak first last month during the. Okay.
You have to lean very close to
Okay.
the microphone.
Wow. Oh, I got to look at my notes and my eyes aren't good. Corinne, I wanted to thank you for letting me speak first last week or last month. Even though I probably wasn't the first to submit my request to speak, that allowed me to leave right away and get back to my business. On the other hand, I didn't appreciate getting interrupted during my 3 minutes and then cut off, even after my mic was silenced the moment I called out a document published by the FBI. I typically speak about off-agenda items, and therefore I only get 3 minutes up here, and my comments are always prepared to fit into 3 minutes. I'd much rather speak from the heart, but I've learned to stay on time by typing a prepared statement. I'm told the board president of Cook County, a bit larger than Kane, doesn't interrupt public speakers or cut them off as soon as time's up. Last year, I attended a Nebraska State Judiciary hearing, and the chair waited minutes before cutting speakers off and did so very apologetically. So why is Kane so quick to silence public speakers? You might answer, because there are so many people on the list to speak last month, but I get cut off even when I'm the only commenter. One would think in a government of, by, and for the people would be allowed more time than their employees, right? Which brings me to my other point for today. During the last meeting, when one man in the back yelled, "You work for us," I cringed. If he had been coming to more meetings and listening to my comments, he would have known you do not work for us. None of you work for us, and you know it. You work for the owners of the corporation doing business as County of Kane. This is not a public body, public board, or public agency. County of Kane is a private, for-profit corporation acting and pretending to be good old Kane County. The death of representative government and fair and honest elections should be obvious to everyone by now. But MK Ultra programming happens. We've all been frogs in the pot to some extent. Sadly, some are still getting cooked and don't even know it. Most Americans are US citizens and so subject to whatever the puppets in power decide. Citizens have no say. George Carlin was saying that back in the 90s, and the pandemic proved it. However, tens of millions of former US citizens have jumped out of the pot. They know now this is all a show, anything but constitutional government. They know the public schools, libraries, police stations, courtrooms, and even sheriff's offices are private for-profit corporations. Every day, more and more Americans see the light and head for the exits of this creepy Roman Masonic construct. And when they do, I wouldn't want to be on your side of the bar. See what's happening in France? As always, I come in peace. Thank you.
Jerome Beddick. Is Jerome here? Lisa Arneson.
Good morning. Oh, off topic, 3 minutes. So this morning you've heard some things and I just had a thought as she was speaking. If all of the comments are off topic, but yet in alignment, I think our agenda needs to help support what our concerns are, and it needs to be a topic on this agenda or the next very quickly. I too have an issue with what happened last week, Tuesday, but as much as I have a background in being a senior financial analyst of financial systems for corporations and having to adhere to the government IRS, state, and third-party audits annually, I know exactly the process that is needed and required to check systems and their securities, because the first thing they do in every audit is check the security. And ours was not secure. And the second thing that they always check is they always go back to the paper. They want to see the source, not a system that can be configured in any which way the individual configuring the system chooses, and that can be one individual. However, the majority of what I really want to convey today to you all is what is the impact of not addressing this? Our voices as citizens come through our vote. So our vote is our voice. And I've had to pull my children from the school district that I moved here for because of its reputation, because it is not up to standards for my children. And so I am now paying an additional $26,000 a year for 2 individuals to go to private school where they are being supported the way they need to be. My vote in this election was to help get the school district that I came to be a part of in my community up to snuff, so that my children and yours and all of my neighbors can have what they pay for and have due to them. What is the standard? What are we upholding ourselves to? Essentially, if you boil this down to dollars, you've just added $26,000 to my real estate tax bill. Because what I pay for is not even the bare minimums. And we're supposed to tout how good we are with awards and money. Are we doing our children a disservice? One of the things that I live by, and it is a personal choice, is the Bible. And it says in the Bible that you are better to have a cement block wrapped around your neck at the bottom of the sea than to make a child misstep.
Your closing statement. Thank you. I cannot read the first name, but Ms. Zitko? Thank you. Is it Ken? Thank you.
How's that?
Very good. Excellent.
All right. So before I get started, I'll say my name is Ken Zitko. I've lived in St. Charles for 20 years. I've lived in Kane County for 32 years. A lot of us have been talking about results. I'm going to as well. We're not, the screen captures comments are not lip service. Many of us have them. If there's an email address, I would be happy to share a packet of information with the board. So this will be off topic. So I've come today to tell Jack Cunningham and the board that there's no way the public can have any confidence in the results of this election. For those who watched, they saw on election night, websites go down for about 2 hours. When they came back up, vote totals had changed. Some changed dramatically, some didn't change at all. So some examples, Batavia alderman races, there were 7 of them. 3 of those races had a steep decline in vote totals. 4 had no change whatsoever. There were school boards that had no changes. District 303, I think, had the largest adjustment made. It came back online, added 15% of the precincts, but lost 30% of the vote. In Batavia, we had individual candidates who lost votes, but not everybody in the race. So all this, and we open the paper the next day and we have stories of glitches and USB files, as we mentioned earlier today, which isn't even a thing. So I've mentioned before, my background is in data architecture for large global corporations. There is no glitch or simple IT explanation that makes this thing go away. You know, at a minimum, this data should be secure. From an IT perspective, there should be a very limited number of people who have access to it. How anything could have changed without anybody understanding what changed, that shouldn't be on the table for a conversation. Additionally, the idea of finding this problem, solving it, testing the solution, applying that solution all in that 2-hour window, impossible. So In my mind, the only solution we have is a new election, paper ballots, hand counted, eliminate the machines so the public can trust the results and the county can demonstrate that they care that the public trust the results. In addition to that, I was supporting a group of poll watchers who poll watch for this election. Over the course of early voting and election day, about 100 incidents, but more significant, 82 of those were for blatant disregards of the election code. Despite numerous conversations with the clerk's office, those transgressions continued. So while this election is a disaster and we can't accept it the way it is, Kane County has some bigger problems than that they need to solve as well. So in closing, election integrity award cannot be accepted.
Thank you. Jody Zitko.
I have been a resident of St. Charles for 20 years. I have supported multiple election integrity efforts of poll watchers in Kane County, including both the 2022 midterms as well as last Tuesday's spring consolidated election. I have also spent over 3,200 hours in the last 18 months reviewing and analyzing election data for both Kane County and the state of Illinois. On Friday, March 31st at about 9:30, I witnessed another poll watcher be physically assaulted. His phone was slapped out of his hand by a Kane County technical election judge in a hallway outside of the polling location. His behavior left me alarmed and concerned for that poll watcher. This incident was reported to the Elgin Police, the Kane County State's Attorney's Office, and Jack Cunningham's office. Sadly, no one has followed up on this matter in the county or from the county. On election day, several poll watchers at various locations in Kane County reported a person entered into their polling places, sharing with all that were there that they were a county employee. The same person was also supporting the campaigns of multiple candidates in that same election. It was also noted on election day evening, after the computer servers became unresponsive to the public, that the same person was physically present at the county building after hours retrieving the adjusted results. This understanding has surfaced concern and integrity of this most recent election. A FOIA is submitted to Kane County related to this individual's employer-employee relationship with Kane County. The request includes security protocols related to employee facility access and access to election hardware, software, and all related data. I've spent over 30 years in my professional experience in operational management for building infrastructure, data asset management, and security for large corporations, 60,000 employees. I'm concerned as a subject matter expert about this issue. Protecting data from an IT perspective, Kane County should have security protocols for accomplishing physical security of their servers' election data as a basic minimum requirement. Reflecting on a large number of incident reports from this recent election, the physical assault of a poll watcher, the late night server issue whose narrative started as a USB file, then turned into a USB drive, then software issue, then misapplied macros to the software, questions regarding election law compliance and security protocols. I and many Kane County residents are left with many questions. Kane County residents and taxpayers want answers to all of the above, truth, and ultimately fairly elected representatives. To quote you, Madam Chair, after all, this is our county.
Thank you. Larry Beddick.
Larry Bettek, off topic. I am humbled and respectfully honored to be here. I'm going to tell a quick story and make a request. There are 3,143 counties in the United States, another 100 if you take the U.S. territories, yet only 10 counties received the U.S. Alliance Award. 3 rejected the award. This so-called award in excellence in elections was earned because of its excellence in elections. Yet we had a consolidated election that was a major fail, not a general, not a primary, but a consolidated. Why did it happen? Well, we heard about the glitch. According to the Cambridge Dictionary, a glitch is a sudden, or usually temporary malfunction or irregularity of equipment. But you know what the glitch is not? A glitch is not a legal defense to go ahead and certify an election. It's not a legal defense to go ahead and keep away from further inquiry or investigation. So where am I going with this? Laquan McDonald was a black man down in Chicago. He was killed by a white cop. Even Cook County made the decision to hire an outside prosecutor to prosecute and convict Mr. Van Dyke. Who did they hire? They hired the state's attorney in King County who prosecuted and obtained the conviction. Jamie Mosser, I have to tell you, you're highly respected and trusted. You're an attorney who's taken the reins of the state's great state's attorneys and keep that tradition going forward. You represent the people and you're an excellent replacement. On your page, you say, Kane County State's Attorney's Office strives to assure justice and safety of the public, to meet the needs and the demands of the public and do these things in a way that is safe for the public and all who work in the court system. You conclude with, as a state's attorney, it's my job to hold people accountable for the crimes they commit, but it is everyone's duty to work to prevent crime. If we really want to solve the crime problem, you say, we must stand united with clear, strong voice to tell the criminal element that they do not have a safe haven in Kane County. I'm humbly asking you to appoint a special independent counsel and to do an independent investigation. Appoint someone from outside Kane County. There should be an investigation with interrogatories, depositions, testimonies, and forensic investigations and audits as to why Jack Cunningham, who actually happens to be absent in all these meetings, wants to accept money for this excellent election, but can't run a consolidated election where glitches happen and votes are suddenly taken away. Again, a glitch is not a legal defense. I have faith in you, Jamie. Just like the family Laquan McDonald, the people in King County need your strong leadership to ensure every voter's voice is heard. I charge you with taking action and initiating this investigation immediately. The future of Kane County and its integrity depends upon your leadership, and I'm asking the board to support her in this move. Thank you.
Debbie Karnofsky. Oh, thank you. Thank you very much. You have a beautiful signature, by the way. Dolores Van Heel.
She's already spoken.
Thank you. Mike McMahon.
He spoke.
Thank you. Of course, Mike. Oh, are you going to come again? All right.
Sign up twice here, right? So
It's
different topic,
apparently different topic.
different topic,
I'm getting, Mr. McMahon.
different topic.
This is
Fine. Absolutely fine.
Is I kind of anticipated some of the nonsense you might pull up there.
Yes, 3 minutes. Is
I want to find out if somebody in the board here would make a move to talk about not hearing from the public, okay? We had these time frames, and I heard someone else talk about it as well. I can't imagine, I'm a trustee in Plato Township, and there's no way that I want to silence the public with a time limit. If we had a time limit, and we don't, I would move as a trustee to say, can we eliminate that? So I'm asking this board for one board member to come up and put a motion on the table to eliminate these ridiculous time limits. Why? Because you need to hear from the people in order to do your job correctly. You need to hear from them. I'm at a crossroads in my life where I have to make some decisions, and I need to hear from the business owners so I can make a proper decision on what they want, not what I think they need. You're in the same position to listen to people, to what we're looking for. It is a representative government. Do you have the courage, a board member, to make a motion to say we would like to reevaluate and reassess this ridiculous time limit because it doesn't give people enough time to talk from their hearts? I yield.
Now, there's another McMahon Rami. No, no. Okay, thank you. Okay, that is the end of our public comments. May I have a motion and a second to place the public comments on file?
I a second.
Williams seconds. Williams. Clerk, please call the roll.
Ellen.
Aye.
Bates.
Bates, yes.
Berman.
Burn, yes.
Doherty.
Yes.
Davis.
Davis, yes.
Ford. Comes.
Yes.
Iqbal.
Iqbal, yes.
Juby.
aye.
Kenyon.
Yes.
Caius.
Caius, yes.
Leonard.
Leonard, yes.
Lewis.
Lewis, yes.
Linder.
Linder, yes.
Molina.
Molina, yes.
Roth.
Roth, yes.
Sanchez.
Sanchez, yes.
Silva.
Silva is a yes.
Strathman.
Strathman, yes.
Tarver.
Carver, yes.
Pepe.
Pepe, yes.
Williams.
Williams, yes.
And
Burgess, yes.
thank you. I missed somebody. Okay, Young.
Young, yes.
Okay, that passes.
I have two things I'd like to share with you. One is reflection on what we just heard, and I want to thank all of you for speaking from your hearts and speaking with data. I appreciate truly hearing from what you had to say. And this will be addressed. Your comments will be addressed, and I agree with you. It does require further explanation on what happened and what the protocol, and make sure that we have that true integrity and belief that our votes are counted. We're going to be facing 2 other elections coming up next year, which are going to be critically important. And we want to make sure that every vote is appropriately counted, that there is no mismanagement or no missteps because of the importance of voting. It is our civil right, it is our civil duty, and something that I personally encouraged across party lines, that people practice their civil rights. And I get very saddened when the population chooses not to vote, to allow a small minority of people to make a decision that impacts so many. And I think that's something we can all believe in. So I would like to ask Mr. Sanchez at the next meeting of the Public Service Committee that you do ask the clerk to come by and to do a thorough explanation and prepare a statement on what happened to satisfy these people's concerns and needs, which I think we all were rather shocked by. It may have been something innocent. It may be something that we can fix and repair to make sure that does not happen again.
I will certainly ask.
Thank you. Thank you. I appreciate that. So the next meeting of the Public Service Committee meeting, I would like to invite you all to attend. We will be opening up the downstairs auditorium. If there would be other people who would like to be able to come, that'll be live streamed. You realize we only have a certain amount of seating here. We have no other facility. It's what we have. So we'll make use of our home, the county's home, your home, as appropriate. But you will be able to hear there, and speakers will be allowed to speak, obviously. But I would like to focus that meeting on hearing what our clerk has to say about what happened with the election. So there is public comment on the ability for the public to hear on this. The next, yes.
I just wanted to make the comment that is Thursday, April 20th at 9 a.m.
Appreciate that. Thank you so much. Yes, Mr. Sturgis.
Madam Chair Sturgis, do we have a stronger mechanism than a committee chair, no offense, requesting the clerk to come? How do we as the board compel the clerk to be here to answer?
He will be, I will invite him formally. And as a representative of the board, he will attend. He will attend. So the next thing on a more interesting note, well, that's not the right word, as a more important note, I would like to bring up our chair our Department Head of Human Services to introduce our new interim Chief Financial Officer.
Thank you. This is Jamie Labrillo, Executive Director of Human Resources. As of yesterday, we have contracted with Mr. Ralph Sarbaugh. Ralph Sarbaugh is a born and raised resident of McHenry County. He served as the Finance Director of McHenry County for 29 years. He is now, Ralph Sarbaugh has a longtime born and raised resident of McHenry County. He served as the Finance Director of McHenry County for 29 years. And is now working in consulting. He did a project with Lake County prior to coming to us. And as of yesterday, he is working with us to help us in the interim period while we are continuing our search for a finance director. Mr. Sabar?
Hello, excuse me. Good morning, board members, and Madam Chairman.
The microphone closer to you,
Okay.
please. It's persnickety.
I'm not a great public speaker either, so I apologize. Good morning, board members, Madam Chair. It's been an honor to be selected to fill in for your CFO in the absence of one being hired, Jed. After my first day here and looking at your budgets and your financial reports, I would say you've had a very good finance staff working for you. And it will be fun and interesting to learn the ways of Kane County in my interim.
Thank you. I think we all can welcome him with a sigh of relief and opportunity. The search for if you could just remain there, please. The search for our Chief Financial Officer will continue. That'll be done once we get appropriate applications in. We are looking for a search committee. An RFP has been sent out that should be finished because it has public notice before we accept people or companies that would like to respond to that. That probably will take place sometime next week. So that will continue. Once that company is selected, then we will move forward with that. But in the meanwhile, Ralph has just taken control of the car. And we met, which was supposed to be an hour meeting yesterday, lasted for 4 hours. An engaging, thoughtful, intense conversation, which we were all, Mr. Berman was, I think we're all quite exhausted at the end of it, but also very engaged. Whether or not a chief of financial officer is hired within 2 months or in 6 months, we're going to keep Ralph on board. He is the budget manager for this year. He will be working with us, with this board and all the departments to put together this year's budget. We will not release him. I think we all can appreciate that once you start crafting a budget, you know the nuances of that budget. It's not just numbers, there's stories, there's needs, there's people behind those numbers, and he is getting to know all of that intimately. So he will be the one that we will be working with throughout this year to prepare this year's budget. He has an extremely strong knowledge of it. He has some very cogent questions. And we're going to be meeting with both our directors and our elected officials to put together protocol on how we're going to move forward with this. You will all be informed of this procedure as well. I think you'll find it effective, meaningful, and very important. So I look forward to working with him. He has a logical, thoughtful mind, one that we can much appreciate. So welcome.
Thank you.
Welcome. Now, is there any unfinished business? Seeing none online. On the topic, item number C is an ordinance. I'm going to say it very briefly. We have met regarding the gun ordinance. That's ordinance number 12. No decision has been made yet on how we're going to be moving forward, if that gun ordinance is going to be changed or amended. Mr. Van Kerkhoff has met with attorneys, our state's attorneys, and they have given counsel on that. He's going to go back and redraft it. So soon as we have that updated, we will share with you the concerns. I have gotten a phone call from one of the neighbors yesterday, independently of this conversation, who has expressed once again the concern from her grandchildren's point of view, that guns are being shot adjacent to her grandchildren's backyard. And this is the woman that was referenced with bullets going into the children's playground and hitting the fence. So she is very concerned about this. And I think we can all agree that children should have the ability to safely play in their playgrounds that's in their backyard. So we're going to be addressing that to make sure that we respect the right of gun ownership, but also the respect of families who live adjacent to those areas as well. And it's a delicate balance. It truly is a delicate balance. So thank you, Mr. Van Kerkhoff, for trying to work through this. And I appreciate the work of our state's attorneys in helping us to guide us through this process. And it's a very sensitive process indeed. So now we have a couple of zoning petitions. I'll turn that over to Mr. Ford.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Our first petition that I'd like to move is 4604, which is a rezoning from F District Farming to F1 District Rural Residential to allow for a new home to be built on the property. This is in Virgil Township, located on Winters Road. The zoning board has approved this with stipulations, and I believe there's 4 of them. The petitioner is Derek Pisa, I believe it is. So can I get a second on this?
Mr. Williams.
Okay, second.
Williams moves.
All right.
Sorry.
I don't know if there's any questions or comments.
Yes.
Ron, whose district is this?
This is my district, I believe. Kurt.
Oh, you need Mr. Williams closer to the
I'm sorry,
microphone.
it's my district.
Are you in support, sir?
I am.
Thank you.
No other comments? No, clerk, please call the roll.
Ellen,
Ellen, aye.
Bates,
Bates, aye.
Berman,
Berman, yes.
Doherty,
Yes.
Davis,
Davis, yes.
Ford,
Board, yes.
Gums,
Gums, yes.
Iqbal,
Iqbal, yes.
Juby,
Judy, aye.
Kenyon,
Yes.
Caius,
Caius, yes.
Leonard,
Leonard, yes.
Lewis,
Yes.
Linder,
Linder, yes.
Molina,
Molina, yes.
Roth,
Roth, yes.
Sanchez,
Sanchez, yes.
Silva,
Silva, yes.
Rathman,
Strathman, yes.
Surges,
Surges, yes.
Tarver,
Tarver, yes.
Pepe,
Pepe, yes.
Williams,
Williams, yes.
Young.
Young, yes.
That passes.
All right. Our second petition, number 4605, which is rezoning from F District Farming to E3 District Estate Residential to allow existing home to be split off from the remaining farmland. This is located in at 44 West 300 Wheeler Road. The petitioner is Daryl Harmer, which is a trust. And I believe we may have a speaker that signed up for this one. This is also approved by the zoning board with stipulations.
And whose district is this? We know.
I think it might be Mr. Leonard's.
Yeah, I think it is.
Mr. Leonard,
We need a second, I believe.
we do need a second.
Surges seconds.
Surges seconds. Okay.
I think the fair question, Mr. Leonard, are you in approval of this?
Yes, I am, Madam Chair.
And do you want to call up your speaker?
Yes, I don't know if the speaker's here or not still. Or online.
Got someone here.
Come.
Yeah, you can come on up.
Hello, my name is Stason Ludwig. I'm the petitioner on this rezoning. I'd just like to be available to answer any questions that the board may have.
Thank you. Are there any questions? No? Then we're ready. Clerk, please call the roll.
Ellen,
Ellen, aye.
Bates,
Bates, yes.
Berman,
Berman, yes.
Doherty,
Yes.
Davis,
Davis, yes.
Ward.
Jones, yes.
Okay, Iqbal,
Iqbal, yes.
Juby,
Truby, yes.
Kenyon,
Yes.
Caius,
Yes.
Leonard,
Leonard, yes.
Lewis,
Lewis, yes.
Linder,
Yes.
Molina,
Molina, yes.
Roth,
Roth, yes.
Sanchez,
Sanchez, yes.
Silva,
Silva, yes.
Strathman,
Strathman, yes.
Surges,
Yes.
Tarver,
Carver, yes.
Tepe,
Tempe, yes.
Williams,
Williams, yes.
Young.
Young, yes.
That passes.
Passes. Okay, thank you. Is there any new business? And are there any committee updates?
Ooh.
Ooh.
Jesus, Cliff.
Which committee was that?
Yes, Mr. Surges.
Tomorrow morning is the illustrious Human Services Committee meeting. And since it's 11 a.m., we have about 5 hours for everybody to put their comments regarding the relationship policy, that this will be the 9,000th time we are trying to move this forward.
That's a slight exaggeration.
That is an exaggeration, but it is no exaggeration to say this has been within the committee for about 14 months. We have tried to move it forward several times. Absolutely nobody has reached out since the last communication that we had, and we are going to try and move this out of committee again tomorrow. If anybody has something that they would like to speak to, comments, questions, concerns, I urge you, please, tomorrow, so we can move this out of committee.
Just of respect to our employees, I know that they will work 24/7 if needed, but traditionally, office hours are over at 4:30 PM. Traditionally. So I would suggest that if there are any comments, et cetera, that by 3:30, that way there's plenty of time to adequately respond to those as a courtesy. Yes.
I would like to thank Mr. Surges and Ms. Labrillo for your determination, your steadfastness, and your
Trying to be fair.
okay, to get this job done. Thank you.
And brevity, above all else, brevity.
Enthusiasm, absolute enthusiasm. All right, thank you, Mr. Surges. Is there anything else? All righty. All right, we're on to our resolutions and ordinances. Would anybody like to remove anything from the consent agenda? Yes, Mr. Iqbal.
Resolution 23-154. The one and 170.
All right, anybody else?
Madam Chair,
Yes,
I'd like to remove ordinance 23-134, amending the Kane County Code.
23, what number?
23-134, amending Kane, oh, never mind, I'm on the wrong thing. I can't read apparently, never mind.
Glasses.
Could I have the glasses, Mr. Surges?
So just.
Got an extra pair
now. We have two, and I've got several upstairs as well. We have two so far. Is there anybody else? All right, may I please have a motion and,
Yes, it counts.
fine, okay. May I have a motion and a second to approve items exempting item number 23-154 and 23-170.
Bates moves.
Bates moves. Mr. Ford seconds.
Jump up there.
Okay.
Please call the roll.
Ellen,
Ellen, aye.
Bates,
Bates, yes.
Berman,
Berman, yes.
Doherty. Mr. Doherty,
Yes.
thank you. Davis,
Davis, yes.
Ford, Gums,
Gums, yes.
Iqbal,
Iqbal, yes.
Juby,
Juby, yes.
Kenyon,
Yes.
Caius,
Yes.
Leonard,
Leonard, yes.
Lewis,
Lewis, yes.
Linder,
Linder, yes.
Molina,
Molina, yes.
Roth,
Roth, yes.
Sanchez,
Sanchez, yes.
Silva.
Silva, yes.
Stratton, yes. Thank you. Sturgis,
Burgess, yes.
Tarver,
Carver, yes.
Tepe,
Tempe, yes.
Williams,
Williams, yes.
Young.
Young, yes.
Passes.
Is unanimously. Very good. Thank you. May I please now have a motion and a second to discuss and possibly approve item number 23-154?
Berman moves.
Thank you, Mr. Bourbon.
Surges seconds.
Thank you, Mr. Surges. Mr. Iqbal.
Madam Chair, I have a few comments on this one. First of all, I'd like to introduce that this deferred compensation plan is for the employees who are very highly paid and they don't want to pay taxes right now, and then they want to defer the taxes when they are not on this payroll or their income decreases. So IRS allows it, but the question is, two questions actually. First, we at the Kane County are being blamed that people are not getting paid enough, and look like people are getting good pay. And I believe at least one of them is getting more than $250,000, which is fine. But and then he is not the chief judge. So this people are getting paid and they want to defer their compensation. The question is, it's about the administrative structure of that compensation plan. The question is, who pays for that administration? Generally, it should come from the very fund that is being created, that is being administered, and it should not be over and above coming from another source to administer that fund. So that's my question. It's not very clear from the resolution.
Madam Chair,
Yes, Mr. Surges.
if I could give this some context, and Jamie, I'm going to invite you to the microphone, but my understanding of the 457B plan is an opportunity for an employee that might want to take additional monies withdrawn from their check for later date. I cannot answer who is paying for that, but I thought the cost of that was from within the fund, not spread out across those employees that are not participating. Am I remotely correct?
That is correct. So it is a deferral of compensation for tax purposes. When we look at total compensation for an employee, it does include any amounts in which they choose to defer to the 457B plan. It's still a part of their total compensation when we look at compensation for things like equity or total compensation to the employee. And all costs of the plan are paid pro rata from the employee accounts.
From that employee whose income is being deferred.
From the those who hold money in the account, yes.
Okay.
Yeah, so it's within the fund, Mo. People participating here, that cost is not spread across all the employees, just those employees that have chosen. And this is an employee benefit. This is something that the employees have come to us and asked for. And I think this is an outstanding response to their needs. So
No, that's fine. I mean, this is allowed by IRS, so I am not questioning that. The question is about the administration cost
it's within the group of
within the
employees that
group of
chose.
people. And the second question is, the law requires us to post the wages of all employees, and it should be updated periodically. And it looks like we are behind, and it should be updated more
I didn't
frequently.
I didn't understand you.
I'm sorry if I may, that all compensation for all of our employees should be updated.
Oh.
And his concern is posted online for the public to see. His concern is that it is not being done as frequently as it should be.
In all candor, I can't answer that. Jamie, you might be able to.
Kane County Open Finance has real-time posting of employee wages. So if you go to the Open Finance, you can look up the wages of any staff position in Kane County, and that is updated real time. So it's connected to the system.
Yeah, the last time I looked, it was only 2021 wages. So I may be looking at some other wrong.
I'd be
place.
happy to share a link for you if you'd like to go in and look at that at any
Can you
time.
check that for tomorrow's committee?
Certainly.
Thank you so much.
Okay, thank you. And then perhaps you can just show a quick slide And that would be helpful. Sure.
Okay,
Is
thank
there anything else?
Yeah, that's it.
Okay.
And thank you again to Dr. Iqbal as always.
Oh,
So
as
we
always,
appreciate it.
absolutely. Clarity of conversation and understanding is important. With nothing else, clerk, could you please call the roll? Yes, there
Motion and
was.
second.
There was.
Got it. Okay, Ellen,
Alan, I.
Bates,
Bates, yes.
Berman,
yes.
Doherty,
Yes.
Davis,
Davis, yes.
Ford, Gums,
Gums, yes.
Iqbal,
Yes.
Juby,
Shiba, yes.
Kenyon,
Yes.
Caius,
Caius, yes.
Leonard. Mr. Leonard,
Leonard, yes.
thank you. Lewis,
Lewis, yes.
Linder,
Linda, yes.
Molina,
Molina, yes.
Roth,
Roth, yes.
Sanchez,
Sanchez, yes.
Silva,
Silva, yes.
Strathman,
Strathman, yes.
Sturgis,
Yes.
Tarver,
Tarver, yes.
Deppie,
Deppie, yes.
Williams,
Williams, yes.
Young.
Young, yes.
Passes.
Okay, very good. Thank you. And may I please have a motion and a second to discuss and possibly approve item number 23-170?
Berman
moves. Thank you, Mr. Berman.
Roth
Second.
seconds.
Oh, give it to Miss Allen.
Okay.
Mr. Iqbal.
Madam Chair, I had opposed this Greater Chicagoland Economic Partnership. I don't believe it's in the interest of Kane County. But in the resolution, you had a page that says that the ARPA fund would fund it. And that page is unsigned. So I'd like to know if ARPA fund is going to fund it or not, and why it is unsigned. And this money is not for 1 year if we are committing 55,000, but it's for three years. So it is a lot more money than we are talking about here. So that page, if you can forward it, you can see that it is.
Please.
Good
Mr.
morning, Mark
Van
Van Kerkhoff, Director of Development. So to try to answer your question, this is a more specific resolution within the overall effort for increasing Kane County's economic development capacities. This specific resolution before you this morning is to approve for Madam Chairman to sign the actual term agreement that the other counties in the city of Chicago are signing for the partnership, as well as approving this year's payment as part of our partnership, which is based on our pro rata share of $54,706. Any other allocations or funding for next year, for the following year, would also be back before the board for that. In a resolution last fall, the county board approved the overall concept of participating in the Greater Chicagoland Economic Partnership. Similar resolutions were passed by the other counties in the city of Chicago in order to together move forward to get to the specific resolution and the annual allocation. Where this sits within the county's overall economic development strategy and plan is this fits a notion of us working with the region, particularly using the resources of World Business Chicago and their research team and their international and national outreach activities that they do already, so that later this year, early next year, when Kane County supports the launch of our own economic development organization to support the county and our 30 municipalities, that organization won't need to hire multiple staff and everything just to do that type of regional work. So there's a longer play cost savings benefit to our overall strategy.
That is correct. And I do have to say to this board that the economic development councils located throughout Kane County, as well as the municipalities, are in full support of this and very excited about this opportunity. I have gotten no complaints, nothing but enthusiasm for this, as well as our other collar counties who are excited about working with us together for economic development as a regional effort. Yes. Hold on, please. Yes, ma'am.
Thank you. In the resolution, it says that it will be paid for by Fund 400 Economic Development. So this is not ARPA money.
Yes and no. So thank you. I didn't address that for Mr. Iqbal. So the goal is to pay for as much of this, have reimbursed to Fund 400 from ARPA funds. We've been working with our ARPA team and EY on the eligibility, and their preference is to see what aspects of the regional effort are ARPA eligible, and refund Fund 400 for that. So, but the initial invoice will be paid for from 400. There is money in the budget to do that. We had anticipated this economic partnership, but we will be continuing to work with the ARPA committee and the ARPA team to refund any of those costs, so the 54,000 that can be refunded to Fund 400.
Okay. It's not been determined in the ARPA committee already, correct?
It
Did we
has,
vote on that? No, okay.
I'm sorry.
I think, can we put a pause?
Okay.
She all right?
Roger? Do we have you up here?
We have a
You can-
glitch.
Glitch in the computer up here.
Shut down.
That's B file.
Okay. Lots of glitches evident.
Do you want some water?
Did I ask?
Would it be appropriate to take a recess? 5-minute recess or no?
Let's just put a 2-minute hold.
Madam Chair, while we're holding,
Mhm.
I want to thank you and your team so much. So much of what we do, when we originally ran for office with all these grandiose ideas, you become where the rubber meets the road on so many occasions. And I know that for me right now in my district, Mark and Keith are working on some sensitive situations. I know that this, you know, the neighboring gun feud is, we're in good hands with you on that. And I don't relish what you have to do on that. And if there is any way that we can help in any way whatsoever, I would hope that you would reach out to us. But so many times this gentleman has to do what we promise or our most noble intent. And I don't know how you always make us look good, but you do. So thank you.
Thank you, but I get the privilege of standing here often, but it's only because we've got a great team of people from multiple departments that support the things that I'm involved with on your behalf. So
Madam Chairman? Hold on a second. Let me. Okay, can I just? I give you the floor.
Thank you. Speaking of Mr. Van Kerkhoff, would you like to share with us while we're on break, this $270,000 grant we just got, which is pretty exciting?
We're on break.
We're on break.
We're on
Well, I
break.
know, well, we can't talk about it on break.
Oh, we can talk about somebody's birthday, we can talk about finding glasses, but.
Some waiting music, maybe?
Music.
Just as an update, we're waiting for the computer to be turned back on.
They're going to take 5 minutes, Roger?
Let's take a 5-minute break.
All right.
We're going to reconvene here at 10 after.
Perfect. Okay, perfect.
for the email thing. That was a very quick response. I just kept getting it. And I'm like, what is up with the people?
Oh, that's right.
Are we back on?
Yeah.
All right, ladies, gentlemen, let's get started, please.
Oh, good. Yeah, I do.
Well, he already told me I'm
I
cut off
heard
at
about
4:30.
I assumed it was.
Okay, if everybody can sit down, please.
Said that about Phil Bucks.
Oh, we got it. Wow.
Bring
Madam has spoken.
the lines.
Oh, is there a line?
Headlight.
All right, it's Mr. Iqbal, he's not here. Okay,
Line.
but I'd like just to make one comment as we're waiting for everybody to come back, because there is apparently a line. Do be aware that there is another facility. You just got to go out the door downstairs where there's multiple. Yeah. So, no, you can move a little quicker through if need be. Mr. Surges. Surges? Yes, I'd like to make a comment on your, the comment that you made about the,
Oh, boy, which one?
I think it was called the gun debacle. Actually, what happened is that we convened several community meetings. And where it started out with everybody was kind of posturing. By the end of each meeting, we were working collaboratively with full understanding. For both meetings, an appropriate suggestion on both sides came forward. Everyone respected everybody else's opinion. We all agreed, I had no comment because I was just trying to act as a facilitator there, that everyone agreed that our playgrounds and our backyards are kind of sacred here. People buy large lots to enjoy the property, and that children should have the ability to play safely in their playgrounds, especially, and they all agreed that school shootings are horrific. And how can we not agree to that? And that their thoughts about children having to do, and this was represented during the discussion, of having to feel that this is a mass shooting alert, that they have to do duck and cover, that they are intimidated and afraid to go outside, should not be represented here in Kane County. So that's how both meetings settled. So it's just a matter of making sure that whatever we put together, whatever Mark is trying to put together, that it can stand a potential legal concern.
And the property owner, the infractor, that's not the right word. The property owner who
Princess is
bought the property to be able to do the shooting was involved in all that?
Oh, yes. Oh, yes.
That's
Well,
fabulous. then.
not that owner, no, but representatives of the speakers who came to speak on behalf of both sides, they were invited.
Wonderful.
It was wonderful. It was democracy truly in action.
Truly one of the more challenging conundrums that has been brought conversationally in my circles. People went to both extremes, and it was, and I didn't have answers. I'm just listening.
Didn't have an answer?
I'm just
Whoa.
listened and said, I didn't talk, just listen. Said, I understand both ends of that paradigm, and I don't have an answer.
So I think what is important to know, just, and now we're all seated, is that this is not state. We're just talking about the county. We're not talking about not selling of guns. We're not talking about not having guns in your home. It's just shooting guns in one's backyard. That real simple. So it can be exploited into many things, but that's not what we're talking about, because I'm sure you would like your children, if you have children, to go outside to play. Everyone would. Matter of fact, they get annoyed if they stay in the house for too long. Go outside and ride your bike. Get out of here. All right, I think,
Madam Chair, before we go on, we just want to make sure we have a quorum after a recess.
okay, we're going to thank you, ma'am. Clerk, could you please call the roll to make sure that we have a quorum, although I see everybody here.
Sure. Ellen,
On present.
Bates,
It's here.
Berman,
Berman's here.
Doherty,
Yes.
Davist,
Davis here.
Ford,
Board president.
Gum,
Gumner, thank you. Iqbal,
Iqbal present.
Juby,
To be here.
Kenyon,
Here.
Caius,
Caius present.
Leonard,
No.
Mr. Leonard,
Leonard here.
thank you. Lewis,
Who's here?
Linder,
Linder here.
Melina,
Melina present.
Roth,
Roth here.
Sanchez,
Sanchez present.
Silva,
Silva is here.
Strathman,
Strathman here.
Surges,
Yes.
Tarver,
Tarver, yes.
Pepe,
Tuppy here.
Williams,
Williams here.
Young.
Young, yes.
All right, you have a quorum.
And I think it's something about being up here at the coffee.
The old building.
So we are in the middle of discussion on
Yes.
23-170.
That is correct.
Adjourned already.
So we're not officially adjourned. Is there any other discussion on this item? Yes. I'm recognized.
So I
Ms.
have a
Judy.
question. Right in the middle of this ordinance on page 271, there's a resolution 22-412, which is not in our agenda packet. But to be addressing the partnership. On page 271.
Put it on the screen.
No.
In my packet, it's 22-412.
Chair, can we have clarity on what it is we're discussing, please?
We are, absolutely. We are discussing number 23-170. Authorizing the participation of the Greater Chicagoland Economic Partnership. The discussion that was brought forward by Mr. Iqbal is how it's going to be paid for. Was it going to be paid for out of ARPA funds? Then further discussion about item 400 budget line item number 400. That's where the discussion was before the incident happened.
But this sits right in the middle of that. And this resolution sits right in the middle of that, and it's not on the agenda.
Yes, yes.
Sure. So this is Resolution 22-412 was passed last year. That's the broader resolution that authorized participation in the partnership. What we didn't have at that time in the fall was the actual, what they call the term sheet or the agreement form. This new resolution authorizes Madam Chairman to sign the term sheet that the other counties have signed. It's been vetted by our state's attorney's office for her signature. And then it authorizes the first year payment of the 54,000.
Right, but what's in here isn't signed or dated. I mean, I knew it was from last year because it had a 22 in front of it, but it makes it look like it's an open resolution that we're going to be approving, but it's.
No, it
Okay,
was, it was signed.
it's a past resolution and we can provide that.
We can
For
provide
you.
you with a signed copy.
Well, maybe we should have that in our agenda packet that goes out to the public, that it's assigned. Because if you're just going through it, there's nothing on it that says it's been addressed other than the number, and it doesn't show up on the agenda.
Typically, I would defer to the state's attorney also, but typically in resolutions, if there's reference to a previous resolution, putting the number in has been sufficient, has been practice.
But they've always been signed. They've always had some indication that they're passed, and this is just blank. Just saying.
I think we've got our board attorneys like to speak. Mike, please. Mr. Shepherd, your mic. No, it's not on at all, sir.
You haven't had enough sleep. Cold mic.
Let's go,
On or not?
gentlemen.
That's what you see.
Ken, your mic's not on.
It can use that one.
Took it on.
Just another glitch, Roger. User error.
Okay, all right,
You're on.
all right. All right, don't use both. All right. All right. I think it is unnecessary to reproduce a copy of the signed ordinance. Quite often there are references to ordinances that have been passed in the past. And I don't see any reason why. I mean, the ordinance is obviously accessible. The minutes reflect that it was passed. Or in this case, a resolution, not an ordinance.
Yes, sir.
That being said, I do concur. If we do include a copy of a past resolution, we can make sure we get a certified and signed copy without blank signatures to demonstrate that it has been passed if we include the full resolution. I think it makes sense.
Very good. For clarity. Yes.
But my question on this has continued to be, and maybe this is just frivolous, but this is very specific to a partnership with Kane County Board Chair Parag. I'm expecting that this thing is going to go far beyond any one term. Why aren't we just saying county board chair? Why is it specific to an individual?
I believe the resolution was crafted so that it authorizes her to sign the agreement on behalf of Kane County.
That's all. Very simple.
But
Very simple.
if you were to, and again, I'm not making.
If I'm going to retire and go to Hawaii
Yeah.
with State's Attorney Mosser, we're discussing that
It's
today.
beautiful. I highly recommend it.
And then we were going to write a television program called The County.
Being if you decided not to run for reelection,
He's chair for life.
right? This is in
It's a life
perpetuity
sentence.
under your name instead of just the chair. Is that appropriate?
Sure.
I mean,
So-
it could be.
The structure of it is that each county gets to appoint two representatives to the Greater Chicagoland Economic Partnership. That was done last month, appointing Madam Chair and Steve Pitstick as your representative. So if Madam Chair ceased to be Madam Chair at some point, then it would be.
He stays on.
No, it'd be,
Not just this resolution.
well, it could be stayed on, but probably would, most likely would be assumed by the new chair.
Mark, doesn't the prior resolution provide for?
I'm sorry, you need to speak to the microphone. Mr. Shepro, we cannot hear you.
His question was if the resolution allowed for reappointments from time to time. So yes, that
Yes, it
is
does.
that is the intent.
That is the intent.
It anticipates that county board chairs as the chief elected officials in the counties in the city of Chicago will change as they did just recently in the city of Chicago, or will very shortly.
Mhm. And- Yes,
Madam Chair,
yes, sir.
Roth here. Isn't this resolution only for this year anyway?
Yes,
So next year will there be a new resolution?
correct.
Perfect.
And your name might be on it, Cliff.
Or- No, it will not.
Yeah, wouldn't that be important?
Oh, it will not.
Levity.
Madam
Mr.
Chair.
Iqbal, are you satisfied?
No, I'd like to clarify that this resolution 412 was passed and the money is coming from ARPA fund. That's what I wanted to clarify.
Okay, so one clarification. So the term agreement that this authorizes Madam Chairman to sign is for 3 years, 3 years of the partnership. And it approves 1 year of the funding. And Mr. Iqbal's question, it is being paid for out of Fund 400, which is our Economic Development Fund from the Grand Victoria Foundation Fund for economic development purposes. And our goal is to have as much of the $54,000 refunded by ARPA funds to Fund 400 to for those items, specific activities that our consultants and deemed to be, and State's Attorney's Office deemed to be ARPA eligible activities.
Okay, yeah, that was my question. One clarification I'm looking for. This resolution 412 and also the new resolution use very big words, which I really don't understand.
Speak up, please.
We need your
For
microphone.
example-
Microphone.
Sir Iqbal, we need your microphone.
Yeah. For example, on page 272, it talks about creating economic growth by building a global competitive ecosystem. What is a global ecosystem that you are going to build?
Well, we know what global is, correct? ecosystem simply means very much like a ecosystem that you would see in nature. An ecosystem, please, any of the environmentalists can correct me
Okay,
with
so
this,
far.
simply means that if you have one individual plant, that plant will take a strong degree of nourishment from that soil. And if there's anything that happens to that individual plant, locust, beetles, ant infestation, it could kill all the plants in that field. But with a strong ecosystem, if you have multiple plants, I believe soybeans and corn help each other out. Maybe. Is that I'm getting not correct? They help nourish the soil with each other. So what we don't want to see here in Kane County, and I cannot speak to the other counties, but what we don't want to see, because we have seen this, sir, in other communities where there's only one industry, let's say an automobile industry, and something happens with that automobile industry. Population decreases, the town closes up. Matter of fact, I lived in one of those towns. The town shut down, and all of a sudden property values from a $300,000 home goes to a $50,000 home. People become unemployed. Poverty is rampant within their community, and school districts are depleted. So we want a healthy ecosystem of a diverse workforce, diverse opportunities, so that they can fertilize each other. And that's what that means. Yes, sir.
So,
This is Caius. Ecosystem is a complex network.
Thank you.
but we are, Madam Chair, we are talking about economic partnership, which requires Walmart moving from one place to another place, or big mega projects like that, not a plants. So, you know, it's
the same, sir. It's the
we are talking
metaphor.
about two different things, ecosystem and economic system.
We're,
Repeat
all
the
right, now,
definition again.
you know,
Complex network.
we have a, I'm not gonna, I will not argue with this, but I think we're mincing words for economic opportunity here for Kane County. And I will not, I don't think it's appropriate to take one single word to say that this opportunity that is a wonderful opportunity for Kane County, supported by many people. As I mentioned, you live in Elgin, the Greater Chicago, the Greater Elgin Economic Development Council is in full support of this, endorsed by this. They are your experts in your community.
Madam Chair,
Yeah.
I
Yes,
call
sir.
for the question.
Thank you. Clerk, please call the roll.
Okay. This is for the vote on 23-170. Ellen?
No, point of order.
Point of order. Yes, Mr. Doherty.
Question was called. It now must need to be second, and then there must be a vote.
And you have to vote.
There's no second, so we don't have to vote.
Well, then you
Lewis
can't.
just seconded.
You can ask for a vote.
Miss Lewis has seconded.
Motion for
Hold on.
previous question requires a motion, a second, unless there's no objection.
Do we have any objection? We have a second.
I think that was the point of order.
That was the point of order. So now we do have a second and
Now the roll call requires a 2/3 vote of the assembly to close
stop the
debate.
discussion. All right, clerk, please call the roll. We need a two.
Is this a
stop-
closed debate
stop-
then?
Stop, close the debate.
Okay.
This is a call for the question.
Okay, this is call for the
Vote and
question.
Call for the question.
Vote is to close the debate and call the main question
All right, so
for a vote.
Ellen? Okay. Bates,
It's yes.
Berman,
yes.
Doherty,
Yes.
Davis,
Yes.
Ford,
Board, yes.
Gums,
Gums, yes.
But equal, yes.
yes.
Kenyon,
Yes.
Caius,
Guys, yes.
Leonard,
Leonard, yes.
Lewis,
Lewis, yes.
Linder,
Yes.
Melina,
Molina, yes.
Roth,
Roth, yes.
Sanchez,
Sanchez, yes.
Silva,
Silva, yes.
Strathman,
Strathman, yes.
Burgess,
Burgess, yes.
Tarver,
Tarver, yes.
Seppi,
Yes.
Williams,
Williams, yes.
Young.
Young, yes.
Okay. And now this is on the vote at the actual 23-170. Ellen,
Alan, aye.
Bates,
Yes.
Berman,
Berman, yes.
Doherty. Mr. Doherty. Davis,
Davis, yes.
Ford.
Doherty, yes.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Doherty. Davis is a yes. Ford,
Ford, yes.
Gums,
Gums, yes.
Iqbal,
Iqbal, yes.
Juby,
Juby, yes.
Kenyon,
Yes.
Caius,
Caius, yes.
Leonard,
Leonard, yes.
Lewis,
Lewis, yes.
Linder,
Linder, yes.
Molina,
Molina, yes.
Roth,
Roth, yes.
Sanchez,
Sanchez, yes.
Silva,
Silva, yes.
Strathman, Sturgis,
Sturgis, yes.
Tarver,
Tarver, yes.
Seppi,
Seppi, yes.
Williams,
Williams, yes.
Young.
Young, no.
Okay, then, I'm sorry. No.
Young, no.
No, okay. Still passes.
Davis with a quick question, hopefully quick.
Yes, Mr. Davis.
I had my hand up, but I didn't want to halt all the other proceedings. The appointed officers in here within the program, compensation or no?
No.
Okay, I see the ability to have out-of-pocket expenses and reimbursement, but I just wondered if there was any other compensation. Thank you.
No.
All right.
Well, we got the amendment to the.
All right, that is the end of our consent agenda and off consent. Now, may I please have a motion and a second to discuss and possibly pass item number 23-134?
A motion.
Gums will second.
Thank you.
Another waste of.
Now, there has been a lot of discussion back and forth with this ad hoc committee, and Mr. Sanchez, I believe it was either Thursday or Friday, sent an email requesting some clarification. Because of the clarification that needed a little bit of research, and it was a 3-day holiday, our staff attorneys were not able to directly address the nuances and the impact of those questions to be able to do appropriate research. So I would like to be able to table this until our next executive committee meeting so that there could be appropriate time to respond to you adequately and to your questions. And the next executive committee meeting, if I could have a date on that, please. Mr. Roth, you seem to be the keeper of the calendar.
Which one? Executive
Executive, please.
is.
May 10th.
April? No, May.
May.
May 10th.
Oh, unfortunately, it doesn't go on.
May 3rd.
Is it May 3rd? Okay,
At 9 a.m.
okay. Oh, May 3rd.
So Madam Chair, may I ask a question?
Yes, of course.
If we're tabling this or putting it off to another meeting to get Mr. Sanchez's questions, that's assuming that no one else has any questions. I have questions, but I'm not part of executive. So do I need to go to executive to ask my questions, or do I ask my questions now so that all those answers are put together the same as Mr. Sanchez's?
I believe that you can send those questions to me as quickly as you're able to. And then we can respond to this if they indeed needed some research to be able to be
They
done.
do not need research.
At this point, there's no motion on the floor.
There's no motion
Chair,
on.
I would move.
It was
that
a
we
motion to,
postpone.
it was a motion to pass it, but not a motion to do anything else.
Oh, correct. So we were still in.
So it's open for
We
discussion.
have some discussion.
I would motion to Sanchez here. I'd motion to refer it to executive committee, their next meeting.
So that is May 3rd.
So that means I would have to attend the executive committee meeting to get my questions answered because they do not require research.
Yes.
Well, I believe that it's traditional that any board member may speak at executive committee,
That's correct. That is
not
correct.
vote.
Question. Madam Chair.
Yes,
So if it's referred back to executive, it's going to come back to this body after.
Absolutely.
Okay, so we'll have another chance to discuss.
Yes.
this. So,
yes.
Yeah, okay.
yes,
Madam Chair.
absolutely. Thank you. Yes.
May we have discussion now? So Ms. Doobie can just ask her questions that sound rather simple to me.
We have a motion and a second to table.
We do not have a second.
We
don't have a second.
To refer it.
I'll throw second it.
All right.
But we can vote down that table.
Oh, we can.
Of course, of course. All right. So we have a motion, a second. Let's take the vote on that.
And this is for
This is to refer it
Back
to the executive committee. That's May 3rd. Correct.
Thank you. But is it to refer or to table?
Well, they're the same.
No,
You're not the same.
no,
Well-
because table would be leave it in this body, but place it on the table to be removed at a subsequent time. The motion to send back to executive committee is a different.
Is sent, and I stand corrected, not to table it, but to
Oh.
refer it to.
The motion?
Point of order, I think. So if we just want to allow a couple questions on this now before it gets referred, we have to vote this down.
We can have discussion.
Quickly consult my
Have discussion.
table about.
I haven't asked my
I
questions.
think a motion to refer is not debatable.
On the table to send it.
Down, and then you could have a discussion.
And then we can refer it again.
Thank you.
Okay, does everybody understand that we can, as a body, you can vote referral down and have discussion. Someone, if so choosing, you can refer it again, bring up the motion again to refer it back.
Thank you.
So clerk, please call the roll.
Okay, so right now I have it to move it back to move it to the May 3rd executive committee meeting.
Correct.
Okay. Ellen,
Alan, I.
Bates,
Bates, no.
Berman,
Yes.
Doherty,
Yes.
Davis,
Davis, yes.
Ford,
Yes.
Gums,
Comes no.
Iqbal,
Well, no.
Juby,
Do we know?
Kenyon,
Yes.
Caius,
Yes.
Leonard,
Leonard, yes.
Lewis,
Yes.
here,
Linder, no.
Molina,
Molina, yes.
Roth,
Roth, yes.
Sanchez,
Sanchez, yes.
Silva,
Silva, no.
Rathman,
Rathman, yes.
Surgis,
Yes.
Tarver,
Yes.
Tepe,
Tuppy, yes.
Williams,
Williams, yes.
and Young.
No.
It passes. You've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 nays.
Correct. So we are referring this back to the executive committee. If there are any questions or concerns about this, please just contact my office and we will make sure that all of those are addressed. And make sure you send that to Jane Callan as well. Because she will make sure that it is well received. Just one clarification as I was doing my own little research and then we'll move right forward. There is ad hoc. The term ad hoc means to the moment. So the committee is to the moment, this ad hoc committee, it's a reference to it. So with that, may I please have a motion and a second to discuss and possibly vote upon resolution number 23-176.
Sanchez seconds.
Thank you, Mr. Sanchez. Is there any discussion on this item? Seeing none online, none on that side of the room. Seeing none, clerk, please call the roll.
Allen,
Alan, I.
Bates,
Bates, yes.
Berman, Doherty,
Yes.
Davis,
Davis, yes.
Ford,
Yes.
Gums,
Gums, yes.
Iqbal, yes.
Juby,
Yes.
Kenyon,
Yes.
Caius,
Yes.
Leonard,
Leonard, yes.
Lewis,
Lewis, yes.
Linder,
Linder, yes.
Molina,
Molina, yes.
Roth,
Roth, yes.
Sanchez,
Sanchez, yes.
Silva,
Silva, yes.
Strathman,
Strathman, yes.
Surges,
Burgess, yes.
Tarver,
Yes.
Williams,
Williams, yes.
Young,
Young, yes.
and Mr. Tepe.
Tepe, yes.
Thank you. Okay.
All right, I believe we have going to executive session. Mr. Tepe, do you have the reason why? Uh,
Motion is to go to closed session for the purpose of discussing pending litigation.
I move we go into closed session for the purpose of discussing pending litigation.
Strathman second.
Thank you.
They're working on it.
Thank you very much.
Right.
Clerk, please call the roll.
All right, guys, they're made.
Hang on one second.
Look, for sure.
Okay, to go into closed session, Allen,
Ellen, I.
Bates,
Yes.
Berman, Doherty,
Yes.
Evest,
Amist, yes.
Ford,
Ford, yes.
Gums,
Yes.
Iqbal,
Well, yes.
B,
Chuby, yes.
Kenyon,
Yes.
Caius,
Yes.
Leonard,
Leonard, yes.
Lewis,
Yes.
Linder,
Linder, yes.
Molina,
Molina, yes.
Roth,
Roth, yes.
Sanchez,
Sanchez, yes.
Silva,
Silva, yes.
Strathman,
Yes.
Surges,
Yeah.
Tarver, Pepe, okay, Williams,
Williams, yes.
Young,
Young, yes.
passes.
We're going into closed session.
This is Mike with IT. Just give us a few seconds back here to transition to closed session. For those of you online, please accept the invite to join the closed session. I'll let you know. We're in closed session.
Take the curtains down.
It's better than moderating.
Oh, no, we have fun.
Thank you.
Yeah. Everybody had fun for about 30 minutes. This is going today.
What's that?
Meeting.
Not the plaintiff in this case, so everybody knows.
Claims against the former sheriff.
Forest Preserve.
I could use $132,000. I'm not.
32.
I got a little lippy after an incident.
Gotta do roll call.
Ready?
I think it is. It's the one I think was authorized last meeting.
Right.
Thank her 9,000 times.
We're gonna pass it now. We're gonna pass it now.
Run one of them. Run one of them open session.
Oh.
Sing it at open session, yeah.
It's in the public.
Then that's so.
Can I take them? Thank you.
So they're turning theirs. I don't care. We've been.
Need these back?
We've been advised.
I can
Don't have
take them.
them.
Yeah.
You don't.
You don't need it, yeah.
Once we
because they're-
pass them, they're public.
Yeah.
Take it home and leave it on your kitchen table.
Okay, you're back in open session.
Fix your wife.
That's
We are,
what I need.
excuse me, we are back in open session. Clerk, could you please call the roll?
Madam Chair, if I might read the resolution, since it wasn't included in the packet, I believe I'm obligated to read it into the record before we vote.
That'll be lovely, but let's formally open up the meeting.
Oh, sorry, sorry.
I don't think you have to read it.
Okay, this is roll call back in open session. Ellen?
Present.
Bates?
Bates here.
Berman?
Here.
Doherty?
Great present. Davis here.
Ford? Gums?
Comes here.
Iqbal? It's not here. Juby?
Should be here.
Kenyon?
Here.
Caius?
Caius present.
Leonard?
Leonard here.
Lewis? Linder?
You're here.
Molina?
Molina present.
Roth?
Roth here.
Sanchez?
Sanchez present.
Silva?
Silva here.
Stratton?
Chapman here.
Surgis? Not here. Tarver?
Yes.
Tepe?
Happy here.
Williams?
Williams here.
Young?
Young here.
You have a quorum.
You know, Ms. Watson, I'm going to ask for a motion in a second to bring it forward to the full board. Okay. Then it's your turn. May I have a motion in a second to approve item number 23-177, authorizing a settlement of claim.
Kenyon would move.
Roth will second.
Thank you.
Second. Okay.
Yes, ma'am. Your turn.
Whereas there's currently pending in the 16th Judicial Circuit, Kane County, Illinois, the matter of Williams versus Kane County Sheriff's Office and Norris, 2021 L272, the litigation. And whereas the parties to the litigation have agreed it is in the best interest of all parties to resolve and settle the litigation and any and all other known and unknown claims of plaintiffs in order to avoid the costs associated with further and protracted litigation. And now therefore be it resolved that by the Kane County Board that it hereby approves settlement of the aforementioned matter, Williams versus Kane County Sheriff's Office in Norris, 2021 L272, in the amount of $132,000, inclusive of attorney's fees and costs, to be paid as per the settlement agreement agreed to by the parties in exchange for a full release of any and all known and unknown claims which may be asserted by the plaintiff against the County of Kane and its elected officials, including the Kane County Sheriff and their respective employees, representative, and agents in their individual and official capacities, with the exception of former Kane County Sheriff's employee Russell Norris.
Very good. Clerk, could you please call?
Aye. The vote. Bates?
Bates, yes.
Berman?
Yes.
Doherty?
Yeah.
Davis?
Davis, yes.
Ford?
Yes.
Gums?
Comes yes.
Juby?
Juby, yes.
Kenyon?
Yes.
Caius?
Caius, yes.
Leonard?
Leonard, yes.
Lewis? Linder?
Yes.
Lena?
Molina, yes.
Roth?
Roth, yes.
Sanchez?
Sanchez, yes.
Silva?
Silva, yes.
Strathman?
Yes.
Tarver?
Tarver, yes.
Tepe?
Yes.
Williams?
Williams, yes.
Young?
Young, yes.
Passes.
All right, Mr. Kenyon, please do us the honor.
Oh, Mr. Kenyon,
Yeah.
there's one statement.
Absolutely. Happy birthday.
Tomorrow.
Mike, please. Mike, please.
Mike.
Just on tomorrow, on our committee of the whole, our facility master plan vision, just want to remind everybody about it.
Okay.
So,
Thank you for that. reminder.
Yes, sir. 3:00. It's at Eagle Brook Country Club.
The bar gonna be open?
All right.
And Madam Chair, if I may,
Oh, of
I
course.
received news this morning that Justice Don Hudson passed away.
Oh.
Don Hudson was a person who was a lawyer in our community, a judge here in Kane County, and then a justice in the second district. He was widely respected for his rulings, for his professionalism, for pretty much everything. I learned today he actually had a hit in the top 40 as a musician. He would often open up court calls with a name that tune to kind of make sure everybody, relaxed a little, to say the least. And so this is a great loss to our legal community. I will make sure that everybody gets his service notice, but I just wanted everyone to know that unfortunately we lost a great one.
Thank you. Thank you for letting us know.
I was asked to put a plug in for the Open Meetings Act training that the Attorney General's office is putting in on April 20th. So it'll be riveting and exciting, and we'd love to see everyone there.
And also being your lawyer for all of that, please go to the open meetings training.
And if, all right.
Everybody passed.
Mr. Kenyon, I'm trying to get you on board. Could you please send us that information about the Open Meetings Act training, and we will make sure that that gets sent out to the full board.
An email had come out and the RSVP was a phone call and I left a message, but I never got a confirmation back.
You are in the front row. We already put you.
Yeah, troublemakers always going for it.
Need it there. I just wanted to get you a good
No,
spot.
I'm always stuck there.
I didn't know we had to RSVP.
If you
You
can,
have to RSVP?
Don't worry, just show up.
Okay.
if you can just resend that, and we'll make sure we get it out as a
Absolutely.
reminder.
Before we ask to adjourn, this is the weekend of the Farm Bureau's Touch a Tractor. It's a free event, good for children and people with questions. And then after that, I still have tickets for the pork chop dinner, which is at the fairgrounds. And that dinner finances the 4-H people. So
And the pork chops are absolutely delicious.
I move we adjourn.
Have a second.
Okay, go in peace, all.
Right.
Aye.
Let's talk about horses.
All in